Hello everyone. Let us begin with living world. When we try to define living, we generally look for unique features of a living organism like growth, reproduction, the ability to sense environment and to mount a suitable response. Some other features like metabolism, ability to self-replicate, self-organize and interact. Coming to a metabolism, it is nothing but a chemical processes that occur within a living organism in order to maintain life. A twin characteristics of growth are increase in mass and increase in number of individuals. Plant growth is continuous throughout their lifespan, but animal growth is only up to certain age. A multicellular organism grows by cell division. Even the unicellular organism also grows by cell division. This growth, whatever the unicellular organism growth is there, that can be seen in vitro culture by counting the number of cells under the microscope. That's how we can know the unicellular growth by cell division. In majority of higher animals and plants, the growth and reproduction are mutually exclusive events. Increase in body mass is considered as growth. If we take increase in body mass as a criteria for growth, even the non-living objects also do grow, like mountains, sand mounds, boulders, etc. But the thing is, the kind of growth that is exhibited by the non living object is accumulation of material on the surface. So, growth cannot be taken as a defining property of living organism. But the main thing is, no dead organism does not grow. That's the main point. Coming to the reproduction. In multicellular organisms, reproduction refers to the product of progeny. Means more or less the whatever the progeny that was produced will have a features similar to that of parents. Invariably and implicitly we refer to sexual reproduction. Fungi multiply and spread due to millions of asexual spores they produce. Coming to yeast and hydra, budding is their reproduction method. In planaria, which is also known as the flatworm, we observe a true regeneration as a reproduction method. Coming to a regeneration, which means a fragmented organism regenerates the lost part of its body and becomes a new organism. In fungi, filamentous algae, protonoma of the Moses, these all will multiply by fragmentation. Unicellular organisms like bacteria, unicellular algae, or amoeba, where the reproduction will be synonymous with growth, which means increase in a number of cells. Coming to mules, sterile worker bees, infertile human couples don't reproduce. No non living object is capable of reproducing or replicating itself. So, reproduction also cannot be an inclusive defining characteristic of living organisms. Coming to the note, nothing lives forever, yet life continues illustrates the role of the reproduction. Even the photoperiod affects reproduction in seasonal breeders, both in plants and animals. Metabolism. All living organisms are made up of chemicals. Chemicals constantly being made and changed into some other biomolecules. These conversions are chemical reactions or metabolic reactions. All plants, animal, fungi, and microbes exhibit this metabolism. The sum total of all chemical reactions occurring in a body is called metabolism. The thing is, no living object can exhibit the metabolism. Metabolic reactions can be demonstrated outside the body in cell-free systems. Metabolism is a defining feature of all living organisms without exception. We can see uh, like in isolated metabolic reactions like in vitro are not living things, but surely they are living reactions. Living organisms have an ability to sense their surroundings or environment and respond to the environmental stimuli, which could physical, chemical, or biological. Plants respond to external factors like light, water, temperature, and other organisms and pollutants. All organisms from prokaryotes to the most eukaryotes can sense and respond to the environmental clues. All organisms handle chemicals entering their body. All organisms, therefore, are aware of their surroundings. Human being is the only organism who is aware of himself, which is known as self-consciousness. Properties of tissues are not present in the constituent cells but arise as a result of the interactions among the constituent cells. Likewise, the properties of cellular organelle are not present in the molecular constituent of the organelle but arise as a result of interactions among the molecular components comprising the organelle. And coming to the biology is the source of evolution of living organisms on earth. All living organisms, present, past, future, are linked to one another by sharing of the common genetic material, but to varying degree. It can become like a direct sentence as an MCQ. Have a look on it. Biodiversity. The number of species that are known and described range between 1.7 to 1.8 million. The number and types of organisms present on Earth is called biodiversity. Coming to the nomenclature, particular organism is known by the same name all over the world to avoid the confusion with the local names which are going to vary from place to place even within a country. Identification. When organism is described correctly, then only naming will be possible. So identification is important. Biologist follows universal accepted principles to provide scientific name to known organism. The scientific names ensure that each organism has only one name, and the plants were named by the International Code for Botanical Nomenclature and Animals International Code for Zoological Nomenclature. Sorry, here that there was a typing mistake. Of was not, for should be there. Each name has two components: the journey name and the specific epithet. This system of providing a name with the two components is called binomial nomenclature. Binomial nomenclature is given by Carolus Linnaeus. Universal rules of nomenclature. Coming to the first point, biological names are generally in Latin and written in italics. The first word in a biological name represents the genus, while the second component denotes the specific epithet. Both the words in a biological name, when handwritten, are underlined separately if printed in italics to indicate their Latin origin. The first word denoting the genus starts with a capital letter, while the specific epithet starts with a small letter. The name of the author appears after the specific epithet and is written in an abbreviated form. For example, Magnifera indica Linn. It indicates that this species was first described by Linnaeus. Coming to the definition of classification, it is the process by which anything is grouped into convenient categories based on some easily observable characters. Taxa, which indicates categories at different levels. The process of classification is called taxonomy. Based on characteristics, all living organisms can be classified into different taxa. Coming to basics of modern taxonomic studies, there are four: external and internal structure, structure of cell, developmental process, ecological information of organism. Basic to taxonomy, again four, that is characterization, identification, classification, nomenclature. Earliest classification were based on the uses of various organisms. Systematics, different kinds of organism and their diversities, but also the relationships among them. Here the relationships are evolutionary relationship between organisms. A systematic arrangement of organisms. Classification is not a simple step process but involves hierarchy of steps in which each step is representing a rank or a category. Since the category is a part of overall taxonomic arrangement, it is called taxonomic category, and all categories together constitute taxonomic hierarchy. Each rank or taxonomy refers to unit of classification. These taxonomic groups or categories are distinct biological entities and not merely morphological aggregates. Coming to a species, group of individual organisms with fundamental similarities. One species from the other closely related species can be distinguished from a morphological differences. Each genus may have one or more than one specific epithet representing different organisms but having morphological similarities. The thing here is a group of individual organisms with the fundamental similarities are grouped under a name called species. Coming to genus, it comprises a group of related species which has more characters in common in comparison to species of other genera. Genera are aggregates of closely related species. Example, potato, tomato, and brinjal are three different species but all belong to a genus called Solanum. Family has a group of related genera with still less number of similarities as compared to genus and the species. Here, the family is taking a consideration of both vegetative and reproductive features of plant species. Genera Solanum, Petunia, and Datura are placed into a family Solanaceae. Genus Panthera, which is comprising lion, tiger, leopard, is put along with the genus Felis in the family Felidae. The cat and the dog families are respectively cat Felidae, dog Canidae. Sorry for the spelling mistake. C was absent in the Canidae. The spelling was Canidea. Just have a look on it. Order Order and other higher taxonomic categories are identified based on aggregates of characters. Order is a resemblance of families which exhibit a few similar characters. Convolvulaceae and Solanaceae are placed into order polynomials. Order polynomial mainly based on the floral characters. Order Carnivora, which includes both Felidae and Canidae. Class which includes related orders. For example, class Mammalia, which includes order Primata as well as Carnivora. Phylum. Classes comprising animals like fishes, amphibians, reptiles, birds, along with mammals, constitute the next higher category called phylum. All these based on the common features like presence of notochord and dorsal hollow neural system are included in phylum Chordata. In case of plants, classes with similar characters are assigned to a higher category called division. The important note here is phylum and division coming to the same category, but phylum will represent for animals and division will represent for plants. Coming to the kingdom, all animals belonging to various phyla are assigned to the highest category called Kingdom Animalia. Kingdom Plantae, on the other hand, is distinct and comprises all plants from various divisions. Coming to the taxonomical aids, identification of organisms requires intensive laboratory and field studies. This point is very important and which is often will come as an MCQ. The collection of actual specimen of plants and animal species is essential and prime source of taxonomic studies.
These are also fundamental to studies and essential for training in systematics. It is used for classification of an organism. Herbarium. It is a storehouse of collected plant specimens that are dried, pressed, and preserved on sheets. These sheets are arranged according to universal accepted system of classification. These specimens, along with their descriptions on herbarium sheets, become a storehouse or repository for further use. Herbarium sheets also carry a label providing information about date and place of collection, local and botanical names, family, and the collector name, even the English name too. Herbaria also serve as quick referral system in taxonomical studies. Coming to the botanical gardens, these specialized gardens have collections of living plants for reference. Plant species in these gardens are grown for identification purpose. Each plant is labeled indicating its botanical or scientific name and its family. The famous botanical gardens are at New, which is England, Indian Botanical Garden, Howrah, India, National Botanical Research Institute, Lucknow, India. Coming to a definition of museum, have collection of preserved plants and animal specimens for study and reference. These biological museums are generally set up in educational institutes such as schools and colleges. Specimens are preserved in the containers or jars in preservative solutions. Plant and animal specimens may also be preserved as dry specimens. Insects are preserved in insect boxes after collecting, killing, and pinning. Larger animals like birds and mammals are usually stuffed and preserved. Museums often have collection of skeletal of animals too. Zoological parks. These are the places where the wild animals are kept in protected environment under human care and which enable us to learn about their food habits and behavior. In zoo, they will provide a condition similar to the natural habitats of the animals. Next one, key. Key is the another taxonomical aid which is used for identification of plants and animals based on the similarities and dissimilarities. Keys are based on the contrasting characters, generally in a pair called couplet. It represents the choice made between two opposite options, the result in acceptance of one and rejection of the other. Many times this statement is given as a direct MCQ, so have a look on it. Each statement in the key is called let. Separate taxonomic keys are required for each taxonomic category such as family, genus, species for identification purpose. Generally the keys are analytic in nature. Coming to the next thing, flora, manual, monographs, and catalogs are some other means of recording description. This also helps in a correct identification. Coming to a definition of flora, which contains the actual amount of habitat and distribution of plants of a given area. These provide the index to the plant species found in a particular area. Remember that in a particular area. Manuals are useful in providing information for identification of names of species found in an area. Coming to monographs, they contain information on any one taxon. Many a times they will give a direct definition of the flora or a manual or a monograph, but in option they will give all these three like option A flora, option B monographs, option C manual, option D all of the above. If you know the correct definitions of those three only, you can correctly answer. So have a keen look on those three definitions. Coming to the major important point, higher the uh, like category, the less will be the similarities between them. So that's what you have to remember. So, guys, I think by this we have finished the living world chapter. So, by I think day after tomorrow, I will going to post the MCQs on the living world chapter. So, don't forget to do those all MCQs. Thank you so much for listening this class.